right, well, it's quieted down a little bit, and I have talked Lucinda into doing a little better quality video for us. Beth and I were totally fascinated with her. She is a true encyclopedia on seeds and preparing for your ability to produce food for you and your family should times be tough. And I'm just going to turn this over to Lucinda. All right, guys, enjoy.
All right, welcome fellow preppers of America. I'm from Texas Ready, and you too can be as prepared as you need to be for the coming challenges of food production for your own family. The good news is we started in the garden, we're going to end up in the garden, and all the way along the path you can learn lessons about God's abundance by practicing food growing in your own garden. Now you might think it's an overwhelming task, but I hope in the next few minutes we can convince you that you can do what needs to be done. Just think about this. In World War II, 50% of the food in America was produced by, get this, women and kids in the backyard. On a quarter-acre lot, we're going to teach you to produce 2,000 pounds of fresh food and vegetables. It's going to be nutritious. It's going to be very tasty because we're going to use absolutely great dirt. Does that sound good? All right, let's get started. How are you going to do this? Now, all of you have your excuses as to why this couldn't be done. I know, I hear them. And I lived in Texas for many, many years, and drought is a problem. I went 16 weeks without a single drop of rain, yet in my quarter-acre lot, we produced 2,000 pounds of fresh fruits and vegetables last year. How did we do it? Well, first of all, I know your soil's bad. I can fix that. Give me 7 to 10 years. Oh, you're telling me we don't have 7 to 10 years. I read the papers too, I know. So we're not going to start with the dirt that's in your backyard. We're going to do a raised bed garden and start with perfect dirt. Now how do we do that? You're going to go to Lowe's or Home Depot, a building supply, and get a 1x6 pressure treated piece of wood. Make it 8 foot long and cut it in half, so now you have two ends that are 4 foot. I don't even need nails, I don't even need screws. However long you want the rest of your bed, make sure you get boards, pressure treated 1x6s again, to match up. When you get home, it's going to be very easy. In less than 2 hours, your garden's going to be ready to plant. Now, we're not going to do any shoveling, no weeding, and no rototilling. It's sounding better, isn't it? Now, while you're at this Lowe's and Home Depot store, be sure and get a 4 foot wide piece of commercial grade weed barrier. Make it the 20-year or better weed barrier, because that's going to be strong enough to prevent the grass that's in your backyard from growing up and making you weed all day. So what you're going to do, the first thing is find your sunniest spot and roll out that 4 foot weed barrier at the length. Make it an actual linear foot that equals the linear feet of board that you have purchased. Okay, then what you're going to do is cut off that commercial weed barrier so that you've got your perfect rectangle. Lay out your boards. Go ahead and get some rebar, or you can get even a little bit bigger stake. I'll show you the big old stake I use. Yeah, this is a big jobber right here.
Okay.
Okay. No nails.
Oh, those are for concrete forms.
No, you just, oh, there?
Yeah.
Great, okay. It's about $20 of stakes that you're going to need. Go ahead and pound them into the earth, just slightly lower than the 6 inches of the wood. Roll out your weed barrier, get your boards up. Now what you're going to do is get cardboard boxes and smash them down 2 layers thick, put it right on top of that weed barrier. It's going to be great, guys. That becomes your mulch. Then what you're going to do is you're going to get Ladybug square foot gardening soil.
Start again, Ladybug.
Ladybug square foot soil is the kind that you want. It's got all the mineral trace elements that you could ever possibly want. It's got the 1/3 vermiculite that looks like this. It's got 1/3 peat, and it's got compost from at least 5 sources, all pre-mixed to save you energy and time. Now you can go to www.ladybug or ladybug.com, and plug in your zip code to find out exactly where in your community the nurseries are that are selling this product. 'Cause not everybody carries it. So however many linear feet your bed is how many bags you're going to need. It's a 40-pound bag, it's 2 cubic feet of soil. So the way to figure a 10-foot bed that you've got 4 foot wide, 6 inches deep, my goodness, each linear foot, that's 10 bags, isn't it? It's very easy. Now, it is expensive, I admit, but your health is worth quite a bit. In the future, your family is worth quite a bit. If you were to tell me that you wanted to be a carpenter, a finished carpenter, I'm going to look at your toolkit. And if your toolkit does not have, it has the stuff that a rough carpenter would use, I'm going to tell you, I don't care how excited you are about being a cabinet maker, it isn't going to happen. And the same thing is true in gardening. Yes, I can fix any dirt. I can teach you to fix any dirt, but it might take me 7 to 10 years. We don't have that long, the last time I checked. Bank run on Spain and withdrawing quite a bit of money in Greece. 720 companies in Italy just evacuated Italy. I don't think our days are too long before we're going to need this skill set of growing your own food. Back to the garden. Okay. In each square foot, you can grow an amazing amount of food because this is very rich and perfect soil. In 1 square foot, you could have 16 carrots, 16 onions, 4 lettuce plants. You could have 1 large tomato plant, 1 broccoli plant. There's a whole long list. And in the book, Square Foot Gardening, it takes you vegetable by vegetable and tells you how close you can plant these things. But it isn't like old style gardening. What you're going to do is you're going to want the leaves to virtually touch, so they create a micro environment, just like you would see in a rainforest. So there's going to be water coming up, touching the top of the leaves and going right back down. So it's a moisture retention style of gardening. Also, the leaves touching prevent weeds from actually germinating. The soil is sterile, it's very light, and so your plant roots are going to very much love it. But because it's sterile, there are no weeds that are going to be resident in it, so hence you're going to have very little weeding to do. The only weeding that you should have is when weed seeds from outside the area blow in. Now, I had a 400 square foot of garden last year in my own home, and I only weeded less than 1 hour in the entire summer. So I tell you, this method of gardening is fantastic, because we like easy. So we've got our soil in. We know how many plants we should put in each square foot because we read the book. Now let me show you an interesting thing, page 109 in Square Foot Gardening. An amazing amount of plants can be grown in this fertile soil. You can see that you can get 90 plants in 12 square feet.
What's the name of the book?
This is called Square Foot Gardening. It's the #1 gardening book in America today. It's Mel Bartholomew. They can, of course, go to our website at www.texasready.net, and we'll be glad to send it to them as well.
So that's an important tool.
Oh, absolutely. And this is the best way to get launched as a beginning gardener. I mean, there's many good gardening methods. This is simply the best to get launched as a beginning gardener, no matter where you're living in the United States today, no matter what the condition of your soil is. You could do this very strategy on the top of concrete and it would work.
Now, do I get my seeds at Home Depot or Lowe's?
Now that is a great question. We're going to talk about seeds. And I have a few. Home Depot, Walmart, Kmart, Anymart specials. Let's talk about them. Well, here we go. We have something from Burpees. Now, where you know that we should not be using hybrids. Hybrids are good for one garden only, and in a survival situation, that simply won't work. Think Labrador, think Poodle, and now you have little baby Labradoodles. That is so cute. That's wonderful. But the next generation of dogs is not winning any dog shows. So the second generation cross of vegetables is likewise a mutt. You don't know if it's sterile like a mule. You don't know if it's going to reproduce true to type. It's very undependable, unstable. The seeds that are good for the prepper or for the person concerned with the economy are those that can be regenerated. They're called open pollinated, and those are the kind that our great grandparents had. They were given a handful of seeds at the time they got married. They went off and they had their gardens, but they would never have thought to go to the general store and get seeds every year. That was anathema to them. I should have taken better notes from my grandmother, by the way. All right, but look what we have available on the open market. Now, Burpees used to be a really fine seed company. It's now owned by Monsanto, as is Ferry Morris, as is about 98 additional companies that they're still using the good family name of. But look what's happened. We know we're not supposed to buy hybrid, so we're going to rule out this buy-licious hybrid corn. No way, we're not going to get it. Right on the next rack is Silver Queen. No indication whatsoever it's a hybrid. But guess what? I know it's a hybrid. I thought I was going crazy until I saw a competitor's product. Silver Queen, comma, hybrid. You cannot use this in a self-survival situation. But let's also talk about some other myths that you might find at the seed rack. This says organic. Oh, it's Ferry Morris. That should be good. Well, Ferry Morris is also owned by Monsanto. Okay, that must be about 48-point type, big organic. That's to get you to buy it, of course. Down here, especially if you speak Spanish, this is interesting, 10-point type, hybrid. So this corn, like the other corn, is hybrid. As a matter of fact, you as a consumer, I know, you will not be able to find non-hybrid corn on the open market, or even at the feed store. Very bad decision to buy corn through Kmart, Walmart, anywhere. Now let's talk about some additional seeds you might find. Well, here you go. It's a Ferry Morris. It actually looks like the same packaging. It's a good variety, but how would you know? If you're not an agronomist or a horticulturist, how would you know that the long imperator carrot is actually an heirloom seed, which is appropriate to put in your seed kit? Well, okay, you knew. Great. You were one of the lucky ones. But now, I'm going to shake this up. How many people is this going to feed? You don't know. I'm going to help you out. 2.0 grams. Does that help? No, it doesn't. I've done the math. I know you hated that subject, but I did the math on what the nutritional eating requirements are going to be for you and your family. Our seed banks are collections of seeds that are nutritionally set up so that under a stressful condition, you're going to get as much of the range of minerals and trace elements as is possible to come out of your backyard using the perfect dirt. Oh, okay, let's talk about another. Oh, this actually is a good seed too, but it is an ornamental pumpkin after all. $2.47, 11 seeds. Not a good value. Or you could buy, oh yeah, you could do this. You could get organic, you could get Burpees. This is basil, but it's 22.5 feet of basil. Now, do you really need that? You do not. This is not a nutritionally set up system. This is a waste of money. The long and short of it is, if you want to build your own Dell computer, you just go at it. But if you don't solder one little item wrong, you could not have a computer at the end of that experience. And the same is really true in building your own seed kit. Unless you've got some real good agronomy background and know the current breeds of seed, how are you going to put together your own seed kit? Just having an heirloom tomato is not going to work. Let me show you why. This is a great tomato. If you were living in Indiana, it doesn't about your next step. If you don't mind, and you just ask the questions you would normally ask. All right. So, you are?
Hi, I'm Mary Hansen, and I just put up a greenhouse, and I'm looking into planting new products and so on, and I'm looking for some direction.
You're in the right spot.
I saw that way.
We're going to have fun. And you are?
Hi, I'm Deanna, and I'm doing the project with her, so we're trying to figure out how to fix up this greenhouse and how else we can start raising some vegetables.
All right. We're going to get them launched in a way that's going to make it very productive and very fun. And we're going to take the high intense labor away. So there's no tilling, there's no weeding, and there's no shoveling. Does that sound good? And we're going to keep the animals away because you're using your nursery. All right. So the issue is, what kind of seeds are we going to go? What's a good investment? What I want to show you is a one-time investment in seeds. You never have to rebuy your seeds. Does that sound good to you?
Sounds good.
Okay. So we're going to do it with we're going to do a little practice with the watermelon. In your two-person kit, which you probably are going to want, we give you about 25 seeds, and that's going to look something like this. Okay. And you're going to plant those, and you'll get about 23 vines, so the germination rate is very high. And from those 23 vines, you should generate about 600 pounds of watermelons. That'll do a lot. You can even give the postman one. Exactly. Now, with the 600 pounds of watermelon, I'm going to teach you how to surround yourself with fellow gardeners so that your garden is protected. Does that sound good? All right. So you're eating away at this wonderful Charleston Gray watermelon. That's going to be about, 25 inches, okay? 25 pounds, 25 inches is the average. And across the street, you're going to give half a watermelon, your neighbor across. You're going to build people around you that you're giving food away to. There's 600 pounds, that's too much for you to eat for 1 year, right? The next time you go, you're going to take a plant. It could be a watermelon or squash or whatever. With your little trowel. This, by the way, is the only tool plus a pair of scissors that you'll need to do all your gardening. But anyway, you're gonna show your neighbor how to do it with a plant and some produce. And now you have other people around you that are fellow gardeners. They're not likely to attack your gardening after you teach them everything that you know. So that's going to help you, keep your food in a self-survival situation. And the best thing is you're going to teach them to teach their own neighbors, and now you're in the center of a gardening community. So through love, and you just extended your knowledge, and it's just a great experience. Okay, so that's just one kind of seed. Now, you've eaten your watermelon, and the first one tastes pretty good. You're pretty proud of everything, but you do start wondering, am I going to do a better watermelon? As it ripens, am I going to find a better one? And yes, you are. And in my case, it was watermelon number 7. Okay, I tasted it. It had an appreciably sweeter taste than anything else. I knew this was good. So I cut it open and I saved all the seeds on a pie pan. Okay, and actually, this is half of the seeds. So those 25 seeds have now turned into 357 seeds, and everything's gone exponential now. This is your fresh seed for your following year. So you never run out of seed the rest of your life or have to rebuy. And what's great is this seed is more acclimated to your neck of the woods than what came in the packet originally. And every generation of growing is going to get better and taste sweeter because we're going to make the dirt more enriched. I'll show you that in a minute. And the seeds are going to get more accustomed to your humidity, your weather, and everything. It's just an awesome setup. Okay, that's what we're going to do. It's a one-time seed purchase. All right? All right, now let's talk about some of the seeds that we find over here, which are also in your kits. This is set up to show you if the whole church came to your tent, but that's not happening. I've got 6 different kinds of squash. These are treated, pre-treated, so that viruses that those squash seeds are going to face will not be an issue. Okay? Now, that costs extra money, but I think you guys are worth it. So, 6 different kinds of squash. Now, summer squash, you can actually eat through the skin. That would be like a zucchini, and you're going to want some of that. Your summer crookneck is also a soft shell squash. But you do like acorn in the winter, and butternut you just can't beat, And those things store well. That one gal told me that she stores them under her bed for 3 to 6 months. I thought that was pretty great. Anyway, so you got both kinds of squash in your squash pack. I don't know how much land you ladies have, but you're going to want to make dirt. Okay, so we're going to teach you how to make compost. You've heard that concept before, right? And at some point, we're not going to be making trips to Kmart or Walmart. It might be too dangerous. They'll kill you for a $2 waffle iron on Black Friday. We know that. So how do you make compost? It's an easy recipe. 1/3 water, 1/3 green material, which is nitrogen, and then 1/3 brown material, chopped up leaves, 2-day-old grass clippings, things like that. The only exception is your coffee grounds, which are green. They're brown, but they're green. Okay. But anyway, you are going to grow things in your nursery, in your garden, that are what we call cover crops, that do nothing but be put back into the compost heap to make dirt. Because this 6 inches of dirt that you have in your raised bed garden is going to be eaten virtually by the plants, and you're going to need to put in 2 inches of dirt in the spring of next year. So that's why you need this compost heap. Now, it has to be a pretty big thing. It has to be about 1 yard, 1 cubic yard, 1 yard by 1 yard, and 1 yard tall, in order to get the proper chemical composition and the chemical reactions going on. And it does get hot, so don't... Our last hour at the expo, here we go. All right, it gets hot, and I have burned down 2 fences and 1 tree, so don't be like me, okay? I got to be a first name basis with my volunteer fire. Okay, whatever. So it has to be a pretty, good sized area in order for this to happen. Now, do you guys like tomatoes at all? I'm a tomato lover too. What are the ways that you guys use and want to use tomatoes?
Salad.
Salads, so we're going to need